sick room, and then reading room, then computer laboratory, and also the comfort lecture room. But under these facilities, economics by comfort lecture room activities such as session team, table tennis, badminton, and also Wirami, the facility for the students who has entrepreneurship.
That's all a little bit information of economics faculty from Kadiri University, and I'm here really proud to be part of it. So let's joining us in economics faculty from Kadiri University. What are you waiting for?
Good morning, Dr. Pailin. Morning. Do you hear my voice? But I can't hear your voice. Okay, yeah. Morning, Dr. Pailin.
Good morning.
Morning. How are you today?
You hear me?
Yeah. How are you today?
Oh, I'm fine. Thank you.
Okay,
You?
yeah. 5 more minutes. We will begin this seminar.
Yes.
Yes, okay. You will be the first, Miss, yeah? The first speaker.
I'm the first speaker?
Yeah, first presenter.
That's lucky, huh?
Okay. Yeah, okay. Thank you, Bu.
Okay.
Morning,
Can we
Prof.
start now?
Yeah.
Wait.
Wait. 5 minutes more.
Oh, five
Yeah.
more minutes, huh?
Morning, Sasli, Professor Sasli.
Good morning.
Morning. Do you hear my voice?
Yes.
Yes. Have you moved your place for the better signal? Yeah.
Okay. I think it's better now.
Yeah, I can hear your voice clearly. Can you hear my voice?
Yeah, there's still some drop. Yes, but there's still some drop in the connection.
I see. Yeah. 5 minutes more, we will begin.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And then Bu Yeni. Where is Bu Yeni? Okay. Sudah mulai. Okay, we will begin 5 more minutes. Udah? Udah? Okay, let's begin now. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Well, ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Our seminar will begin. Please have a nice seat at your home, office, or wherever your location is right now. Thank you very much for preparing yourself to join our seminar today. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning to you all. Honorable Director of Kadiri University and the staff. Honorable the Dean of Health Science Faculty of Kadiri University and the staff. Honorable the all speakers and participants of this seminar. My name is Pamadia Vitas Moron, the moderator of today's seminar. I'm very pleased to see you all here and welcome to all our this seminar today held by Health Science Faculty of Kadiri University, Kediri, Indonesia. As we know that during the pandemic, the medical staff have the big role for caring the COVID patient. They devote their lifetime for the patient. During the new normal, they have their manner or their way for handling the patient. That is why this seminar today, we will discuss about handling the patient during the new normal era. Ladies and gentlemen, we have three honorable speakers for today. Let's greet them one by one. The first speaker is Dr. Patien Registered Nurse PhD, the Dean of Nursing Faculty, Patumtani University, Thailand. Good morning, Dr. Patien. Good morning, Dr. Patien. Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for joining us today.
Mhm.
The second speaker is Professor Dr. Sasli, the Director of UTM Hospital University Nukimara, Malaysia.
Hi, how are you?
Thank you. Fine. Assalamualaikum.
Good.
Are you okay today?
Yes, very good, thank you.
Thank you for joining us today. Okay, we will read the agenda today. The first is the opening ceremony by listening the national anthem of the Republic of Indonesia, and the national anthem of Malaysia, and the national anthem from Thailand. And then opening speech from the Dean of Health Science Faculty. Next, presentation for each speaker. And then the question and answer session for all the honorable speakers. And the last closing, also taking a picture together for all the participants and the speakers. In a short while, we will start the opening ceremony by listening to the national anthem of three nations. Firstly, let us pay our respect to the national anthem, Indonesia Raya. The second national anthem is national anthem from Malaysia. Let's pay our respect to Negaraku.
Thank you.
third national anthem is national anthem from Thailand. Let's pay our respect to Pleng Chatai.
เพลงชาติไทย
เป็นประชารัฐผ้าไทยของไทยทุกส่วน อยู่ดำรงคงไว้ได้ทั้งมวลด้วยไทยล้วนหมายรักษาพันถิ่นไทยนิรักสงบแต่ถึงรบไม่กล้าเอกราชจะไม่ให้ใครคนดีสละเลือดทุกอย่างเป็นชาติมาเลถ้าเดินประเทศชาติไทยต้องมีชัยชโย
Thank you. Our second program is the opening speech from the Dean of Health Science Faculty of Kadir University. May I invite Ms. Sri Haryuni as Governor MCUP for the opening the speech. Ms. Sri Haryuni, the time is yours.
Thank you, Ms. Vita. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Honorable Rector of Kadiri University and the staff, Professor Dr. Sasli Kasim, Director of UTM Hospital from Malaysia, Assistant Professor Dr. Pailin Nukuljit, Registered Nurse PhD, Dean of Nursing Faculty, Pathum Thani University from Thailand, Yani Lufiana Novita Agnes, Askapnas MPD MKes, Candidate PhD, Lecturer of Kadiri University, all of webinar committee, and all of webinar participants. First of all, let us give thanks to Allah because with His blessings today we can meet here to join the international webinar together with the team handling patients during new normal era. Before I have welcoming speech on this greeting, I would like thanks to moderator that have given me opportunity to open this webinar. As the Dean of Faculty of Health Science, Kadiri University, I would like to thank all the speakers who were willing to share their knowledge with all of us. And I apologize if there are many deficiencies in this event. I hope this webinar can increase our knowledge and insight, especially in handling patients during new normal era. Ladies and gentlemen, I respect with this event, we hope that it can develop our university. Happy on joining the webinar. Hopefully what we do today will benefit us all. Terima kasih. Thank you. Akhirul kalam. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Ms. Sri Haryuni, for a warm welcoming speech. Now we will move to the main program, the presentation from each speaker. But before the presentation begin, let's know the regulation how the presentation will be going on. Number one, during the seminar, we turn off all the participant mic features. The participants are invited to ask a question for each speaker through the chat features, both of the Zoom, YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram. Next, our team will select up to the 3 questions from the participant for each speaker, depend on the time left for the session. And I will read the question for the speaker after the speaker present the material. Okay, now I'd like to give the time to our first speaker, Dr. Pailin, to present the material about 20 minutes. But before that, allow me to briefly introduce to you all the profile of the first speaker, Dr. Pailin.
Okay, good morning, everybody.
Dr. Pailin, I will introduce you first. Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Okay. Dr. Pailin is the assistant professor of this one. Sorry, yeah. Dr. Pailin, the assistant professor The name is Professor Patien College Registered Nurse PhD. She got the education for PhD in the nursing science as perinatal, and then the University of Illinois of Chicago, United States of America, and then got the experience of working nursing faculty member, Paramajunani College of Nursing Bangkok, Ministry of Public Health Thailand, and then also the director of Paramajunani College of Nursing Bangkok, Ministry of Public Health Thailand. The current work is the Dean Faculty of Nursing Pathumthani University, Pathumthani, Thailand, and then also the Vice President, Pathumthani University, Thailand. That's about Dr. Pailin. Now the time for Dr. Pailin to present the material. Dr. Pailin, the time is yours.
Yes, thank you, everybody.
You're welcome.
Could you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yeah.
Oh, can you hear me? Okay. I think the new normal, the situation of new normal all over the world is very similar. But I'm got the talking about the handling patients during new normal in Thailand, that we can share our experience among us. Okay. As everybody understand, it's new normal is changing lifestyle after COVID-19. People are more awareness in health than the day before. Then we focus on how to handle patients during new normal. Let's start first. First, the nurses and other health personnel have to be awareness of self-protection by we strictly put on mask on the time, washing hand before and after providing care, take a bath and change uniform before going back home. If the provider is a nurse, they cannot wear a nurse cap during this time. They have to wear the disposable cap that they can throw it away after they finish work. Taking a bath, change uniform before going back home, carry alcohol gel for washing hands on the time. Do not wear uniform to public area. This cannot do that. Cannot wear uniform to the public area. And everybody have to take vaccination, especially influenza, pneumococcal vaccine, and maybe anything else like a chicken pox or measles, something like that. Then the second, this is a big job that the hospital service system has been changed to fit new normal. Let's begin with the first thing that we have changed a lot during new normals is we use touchless medical services like a telehealth, telemedicine. A telehealth and telemedicine, especially the patient with the chronic illness like hypertension, diabetes, heart disease, that sort of thing. And then they use telehealth, telemedicine, online consulting. And when the people have a problem, they can consult the doctor online. The doctor then provide online prescription. Then they can go to online payment. And the medication will go by EMS, by post, and maybe a drive-through service. The consulting about a health problem, we can use SMS, right? Then we provide health education on COVID-19 prevention to people, especially through health volunteers. We use a lot of health volunteers in the community. Okay, number two, the physical distancing at the hospital. It is very strict at the hospital. especially at the waiting area. The people have to sit 1.5 to 2 meters distancing. Also at the hospital canteen, also keep physical distancing at the same 1.5 to 2 meters distancing. Use chill such as counter chill, cashier chill, face chill, especially when at the counter, but between when the health personnel have to communicate with the patient or the people who come to the hospital. They have to talk and use chill at the counter. Limit only one accompany for one patient. Before new normal, how there are a lot of relatives accompany the patient, maybe 2 or 3, sometimes 4. But during this time, the new normal, they limit only one accompany for one patient only. Abstain for visiting patient. Instead of visiting patient, they use telephone. They can visit by phone. They can look at the video call instead. We can use extra screening. We use thermal scan. When the people go to the hospital, at the entrance, they use thermal scan. If you have fever, you cannot enter the hospital. You have to go to the clinic that to investigate for the COVID-19 instead. And the people need to take the history checking about what they have been somewhere, especially the high risk area. Screen COVID-19 infection of high risk group. Everybody put on mask on the time while staying inside the building. Everybody have to care for personal hygiene. Everyone provide alcohol gel for hands washing for everyone. In the hospital, at the outpatient department, or even inpatient department, they will put alcohol gel or alcohol spray at the convenient area that the people can get easily. And put on this possible cap instead of nurse cap. The physician and nurse have to wear hospital gown. They cannot wear like a suit or necktie, and there's no need for that during this time. They have to use hospital gown only. All medical staff have to strictly follow the rule of the hospital for COVID-19 prevention. And safe and clean. We are very strict on the safe and clean. Clean on contact areas such as table, chair, ladders, lifts, escalators, that sort of thing. With disinfectant every hour. Clean and spray inside room, building with disinfectant twice a day. Clean medical equipment after using. When we use any kind of equipment for one patient, and after that we have to clean it, and then use the new one for the new patient. Clean wheelchairs, stretchers, ambulance, and car after using. And we have to separate used mask from general garbage, because the mask we use maybe we can carry the virus to spread to other. So we separate used mask from general garbage. This the COVID-19 situation in Thailand. This is yesterday. The data is from yesterday. Now we have 3,376. Yesterday we have 17 new cases. All of the new cases yesterday come from outside the country. They are on staying at the state quarantine. Everyone who come from outside the country have to stay at state quarantine for 14 days. And during these 14 days, we can find somebody that get infection from COVID-19. Like yesterday, we have 17 cases. At the moment, we have recover patient who can return home for 3,173. Yesterday we have 3 more that they can they're better, they're getting better and can return home. Now so far we have 145 cases that's staying in the hospital under the treatment now. The number of deaths is still 58 for maybe more than 6 months. We have 48. They're not increased. This is there is not new case found in our country for more than 2 months now. It is we are lucky, but we are not we are still aware of the phase 2 of the infection. So if they don't have the new case in the country for more than 2 months, but we still restrict all of the personal hygiene or the step of the COVID-19 protection. However, the new cases found nowadays were from outside the country. All of them were at state quarantines. We come to this successful situation because the cooperation of all Thai people. Everyone follow Ministry of Public Health instruction. Everyone put mask. Everyone put alcohol gel for hand washing, like this. Everyone have to social distancing. If you will stick like this, I think the second phase will not come, but we are still aware of it. Okay, I think I did already my presentation.
Well, thank you very much for nice presentation, Dr. Pailin. It seems so complicated, yeah, preparation for handling the patient during the new normal, but it must be done. It must be done for the human safety, I think. Okay, thank you for nice presentation. Next presentation is from Professor Sasli to present their material about 20 minutes. But before that, allow me to briefly introduce Professor Sasli to you all. Professor Sasli Sahlan bin Kasim is the consultant cardiologist or physician in 2011 Health Service Executive Airline. And then he is also the specialist of register in cardiology 2005 until 2011 Health Service Executive Airline. And then registered in cardiology 2004 until 2005 Health Service Executive Airline. And then the director for University Technology Maram, Malaysia. And then he has many organizations. The member of Royal College Physician Ireland in 2005, and then one member of Irish Cardiac Society in 2005, the member of European Society of Cardiology in 2005, Register of Specialists, National Specialist Register, NSR for Physician and Cardiology in 2012, the member of National Heart Association Malaysia in 2012, and then the member of Malaysian Society of Hypertension in 2013, the member of Malaysian Society Atherosclerosis and member of Interventional Cardiac Society of Malaysia in 2003. The member of Malaysian Heart Rhythm Society in 2014, the member of European Atherosclerosis Society in 2015, the member of Academy of Medicine Malaysian in 2015, the fellow of National Heart Association Malaysia in 2015, the fellow of ASEAN Federation of Cardiology in 2016, and the fellow of Royal College of Physicians in Ireland in 2017 and fellow the European Society of Cardiology in 2017. That's all about Professor Sasli curriculum vitae. Now, the time for Professor Sasli for presenting the material. Professor Sasli, the time is yours.
Thank you very much, Rita.
You're welcome.
Can you see my slide?
Okay.
Okay, Assalamualaikum and very good morning to everyone. Thank you very much for the opportunity to present on the handling of patients in the new normal. And thank you for the very kind introduction at the very start of the session. Okay, so I came back from Ireland in 2011 and started working in Malaysia since then in 2012, where we founded the Heart Center, which is in Sungai Buloh, and subsequently in UITM, University Technology Mara, is a university based similar to yourself, but it's a government link, and it has 3 campuses in Sungai Buloh, in Selayang, and our new hospital in Puncak Alam will be ready fairly soon. The distribution of our work includes a primary care service in Selayang, inpatient service in Sungai Buloh, and also our hospital, 400-bed hospital in Puncak Alam. Similar to our colleague from Thailand, our cases is actually 3 times higher. 2 days ago, our total cases is 9,129. And our new cases are mainly about 15 from 2 days ago, 4 imported cases and 11 local cases. The local cases are coming sporadically, and the Ministry of Health is actively tracing the source. There were 125 deaths total, which is about 1.37% of the total number of cases from COVID. So in Malaysia, what we've done is not too dissimilar to what was done in Thailand. A lot of the ways how patients are handled from the community to inpatient, to how healthcare responds, to how medication is dispersed, and to how healthcare, what they do when they get home is very, very similar. There's 4 pillars that I shall share today. What happened during the movement control order or the lockdown, how we adapted to COVID-19, and room for innovation, because we are academic based in a university, and how we managed to enforce teamwork among ourselves. So with movement control, the issue was there's a lot of spread in crowded areas. Contact tracing was still very at the very skeleton, and there's rising anxiety in society with the spread of COVID. Not so much to the healthcare workers and so on, but mainly we worry that we spread it to our families, to our parents, to our children. So the things that was done was we had a lockdown, we closed businesses, we used applications to trace and track population movement, and the formation of a national crisis response center. We issued out guidelines to dictate who are to be tested. Everybody is mandatory to have a 1 meter social distancing. Contact tracing is mandatory, run by the Ministry of Health. The border was closed and everybody was told to work from home, and Zoom became very popular, such as what we are doing right now. How we adapted to COVID-19, some of the issues were the non-compliance to home quarantine, anxiety among healthcare workers, and the lack of PPEs. Here, I must stress out, in the month of March and April, I think the whole world was short of PPEs. So there was a lot of new cooperation in the private sector as well to produce PPEs. We renovated our emergency department to cater for cases for suspected COVID. We formed severe acute respiratory illness team, and we formed a non-SARI ward, the non-severe acute respiratory illnesses. We hospitalized everybody with COVID positive tests are kept in hospital. And what's unique about UITM is our campus in Sungai Buloh. It's predominantly a cardiac center, but we're right next door to the National Infectious Disease Hospital, which is Hospital Sungai Buloh. And that's a 600-bed hospital that was expanded to 2,000 beds to look after COVID-only patients from all over the country. And when that hospital was full, the ministry created more COVID-only hospitals. So this created a lot of problems for non-COVID patients. So all the private hospitals and the university hospitals then decided to take up all the non-COVID patients through our doors. And doffing training is very, very important. As my previous speaker mentioned in Thailand, if we are not trained to don and doff PPEs, you're not allowed to touch patient. It's mandatory and you're observed, and it's very, very strict. If you do it wrong, you have to do it over again. We don on personal protection wear on 2 layers, and if we are dealing with severe acute emergencies like STEMIs, acute heart attacks in the cath lab, sometimes we don 3 layers, which makes it very, very hot. We have a PPE protocol everywhere on the walls of our wards, in our emergency areas. We postpone all non-emergency services. Elective cases are cancelled. And stock management is very, very important. We take stock of all our PPEs on a daily basis. And whenever we hear that there's shortages, we respond very, very quickly to make sure that supplies are sufficient. When we found that supplies are not sufficient, we quickly either try to get it off vendors, and these are very, very difficult because commonly they're stuck and they try to price war, create a price war. So we found a lot of donations coming through from the private sectors, from huge companies, coming through to big hospitals and some to our hospitals as well. And some of them are created by our own university staff members. With COVID, it allows for a lot of innovation because the fear is that healthcare workers as frontline workers should not be compromised. So the risk of infection to healthcare must be mitigated. Just what was done in Thailand, we have virtual clinics, mobile and drive-through pharmacy system. We have the coronavirus mobile unit called Combat, which screen suspected COVID patients without the need to use for PPEs. And we have drive-through pharmacy and the medicine delivery. And we also emphasize on healthcare teamwork. At the very, very start, in the month of March and April, testing was quite limited. We did not have the testing kit, the articulated kits. And then in the middle of April, testing was ramped up very, very fast. Not only did testing occur in the Ministry of Health, but all private labs and university hospital labs started to test and coordinated centrally by the Crisis Response Center. So all the samples are collected by MOH officials, centralized in the CPRC and distributed to all the private labs. And then the results are all keyed into an online software. So that allows us to track samples very accurately. And our lab in our hospital in UITM was part of this. We had to create and mobilize personnel to man the labs. Remember, these labs are human manned, and therefore you need to also allocate PPEs to these labs and make sure that those staff working there are safe. Staff happiness is important as well. When the movement control order was implemented, it means business was shut down. This includes childcare, nurseries. So most of our nurses, doctors, our support staff have small children and they are stuck. They have to go to work, but they have nobody to look after the children, and because the nurseries were closed. So what we did in our hospital and a few other hospitals similar to us, they created their own nurseries, manned by their own staff, by lecturers, by psychiatry staff, by psychology students, to keep these children entertained. I have to say that our border control and movement control order were very, very effective. We deployed police and also the army and also auxiliary polices to keep movement in check. And if people and patients do not have specific invitation letters, clinic appointment dates, if they cannot produce it while they are stopped by those roadblocks, then they are told to go home, and very, very strict. We put all our COVID positive patients in hospital. Most of the emergency department are converted so that they can deal with suspected COVID better. Anybody suspected of COVID with upper respiratory tract symptoms, fever, runny nose, are then put away in a SARI ward. The SARI ward have negative ventilation, plastic cover so that the ventilation are all one way and does not spread to other areas of the emergency department. And outside of the hospitals, we created and set up screening tents, and all staff will be wearing personal protection wear. From our hospitals, we created task force to deal with specific and remobilization of duties. So it means that some of our staff were previously admin clerks, they are now checking temperatures, for example. Some of them were pharmacists, but they're now look after children in the nursery. Some of them are staff nurses. They are also helping screening temperatures on the outside. So there's a lot of cross and multitasking of our staffing. Again, as I said, donning and doffing were very, very critical. Here's an example in the cath lab, how many layers of PPE. The temperature was kept very, very low at 16 degrees. Patients are often trembling because it's very, very cold. We have a warmer here that pumps hot air underneath their gown. And without proof of having been trained to don personal protection wear, they are not allowed to work on that day. And we do that fairly regularly. Some of our wards were converted into a specialized SARI ward, severe acute respiratory illness. Now, this is a bit tricky because these patients can be COVID, they can be not COVID. And when they are housed or put into these wards, they are isolated, and nursing and medical staff looking after these patients would have minimal contact. For those patients who are well, sometimes we contact them with WhatsApp, with messaging, with telephone calls. All the wards would have viewing panels so we can see the patients. They would have their vital signs taken several times a day, and the blood pressure cuff would be left on the arm and would go off automatically. We install cameras in the patient's ward as well so that we can monitor what's happening to them. So if the patient needs to be intubated, we have a dedicated room which is negatively pressured with all the intubation equipment kept in there. So all the emergency staff, the anesthetic and support staff would come down, would don into their PPE, intubate, and then transfer to a proper ICU and isolated ICU. So the classification of our patients are divided into 5. Asymptomatic patients are those who are walking around healthy, well, but COVID positive. They are kept in hospital vicinity, not exactly in a hospital bed, but they are usually kept in the hostels surrounding the hospitals. These usually belong to nursing staff, to allied health, to some of the house officers. They are vacated and used to keep these COVID positive patients. There are also patients with symptoms like flu-like illness. They're kept in the ward, low-grade ward. Those with pneumonia are kept in a proper medical ward. Symptomatic pneumonia requiring oxygen therapy, and those critically ill are usually monitored in HDU and ICU. We expanded the ICU as well. Our usually, like in Hospital Sungai Buloh, the ICU capacity is about 50 beds. For the purpose of COVID, they created another 50 beds. So in total, they have 100 ICU beds. And in our center, we have 20 beds, and we created another 10 beds so that we have a total of 30 ICU beds. And we also know, based on big data, on the data collected, who are those who could desaturate and progress on to have severe COVID by this slide. Combat was mentioned earlier on. This is our mobile coronavirus testing unit. It allows the staff to stay in the unit through the middle door here, and usually takes about 3 staff and can be as little as 1 staff. And it has 5 testing pods, 1, 2, 3, 4. Patients enter from the outside. They sit down, they lift up their nose and head, and swabs are done through these handholds and handled through these little glasses, and then sent into our COVID testing lab. Like Thailand, we post up all our medications, so there's less footfalls in hospital. And around the country, the government also set up isolation areas, especially for immigrants, For people returning from overseas, they are housed into hotels for their quarantine. And we also have humanitarian missions going out to areas where there's a lot of homeless people to make sure that they are kept well during the lockdown. Now in Malaysia, we are in a period where we call it a recovery movement control order. Business are almost back to normal, but the new normal is enforced. Everybody now has to wear masks as of last week. Prior to this, they are encouraged to wear masks. Now they are forced, mandatory to wear masks. If you're caught in the streets without wearing masks, you're fined 1,000 ringgit. That's about 4,500. Sorry, that's about 300 US dollars. The army and the police are scaled down somewhat, but roadblocks are still occurring every so often. Patrols are everywhere. Business is almost back to usual. However, places like nightclubs, where there's a lot of contact and it's very difficult to control, pubs and bars are still closed. Friday prayers for us is very, very difficult. There's an app for every mosque that we have to register early, or some mosques do not use that app, but you have to queue outside early prior to azan. And if you are late or if the mosque is full, you cannot pray Friday. You cannot do your Friday prayers. So it's very difficult for some of us as well. So that is all that I have to share with you. I'll be happy to take any questions, or if you can't ask questions, please feel free to email me or contact me on Twitter. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Sasli, for the very nice presentation. Yeah, I read your slide that you have many innovation for your hospital, such as virtual clinic consultation and then drive-through pharmacy. It's very interesting, I think. Thank you, Prof, for your nice presentation. Next, I would like to give the time for our third speaker, Miss Yani Lufiana Agnes from Kadi University, to present this material about 20 minutes. But before that, allow me to briefly introduce to the participant the profile of our third speaker. Okay, Miss Yani Lufiana Novita Agnes is the lecturer and researcher from Kadi University. She has the area of interest for health promotion, HIV or AIDS, and also community nursing. She has the work experience as the lecturer of Kadi University from 2005 until present, and then co-founder of Sapuan 2015 until present, and then the manager of program of Post Institute from 2010 until 2015. Her education is Bachelor of Nursing of Brawijaya University Malang in 2003, and the Magister of Education at Dibuana University Surabaya in 2007, the Magister of Public Health in Diponegoro University Semarang 2005, and also the PhD candidate of Faculty of Nursing, Prince of Songkla University, Thailand. It is about the curriculum vitae of Miss Yani Lufiana Novita Agnes. Now the time for her to present the presentation. Miss Yani Lufiana, the time is yours.
Thank you very much, Ms. Vita, for having me today. After those two interesting topics, I just want to add a little more about how people in Indonesia facing COVID-19 by exploring local wisdom in Indonesia. So my topic today is exploring local wisdom for fighting COVID-19. I want to show you first about the current situation of COVID-19 in Indonesia, especially in East Java province where Kadiri University is stands. So right now we can see from the picture that there are many, most of the region in East Java province color with orange color, and some of them is coloring by red color. It means that most of the region in East Java province categorized in medium risk and also in high risk. So, along with the WHO and also with other countries like Thailand and also Malaysia, government Indonesian government take an action by issue the regulation number 2020 about large-scale social distancing as an implementing regulation of the 2018 health quarantine law to restrict the movement of people and goods within a control zone, in which the large-scale social restrictions include the closure of school and workplaces, same with other countries, and also restriction of religious activities and restriction on activities in public places, even though right now in some places in some regions they already open their places because of the level of the COVID-19 is very low. And then there are three other measures besides the large-scale social restrictions stipulated in the health quarantine law, namely home quarantine and hospital quarantine and also regional quarantine. That's why most of people stay at home and work from home. And self-quarantine and physical distancing are two Indonesian government's main approach to prevent the contagion of COVID-19. Theoretically, according to Talidong and Tuhero 2020, along with the urgency to wear masks in public places, these two essential activities are enough to prevent contagion. What happened? And furthermore, Indonesian COVID-19 task forces and also media is continually spreading the update of COVID-19 every day, because in each Java province right now, the number of COVID-19 cases escalate every day. While people believe that the fact that COVID-19 is very treatable disease and also very contagious, but yet many people do not follow the guideline or protocol of COVID-19. What's that? By sending messages related to COVID-19 protocol, one study found that by sending messages related to COVID-19 protocol through religiously affiliated authorities and also government authorities is not effective enough. So what community do? Because my background is community nursing, I want to see the COVID-19 outbreak from the community perspective. So what the community do with this situation to protect their community in this situation? Most community in this situation, they try to use local wisdom to protect their community. What is a local wisdom? In here, I learned about the local wisdom. Local wisdom is the knowledge gained through a series of activities by a group of people in particular region or place, and then passed on from generation to generation, probably from their mother to their children, from their grandmother to their mother to their children. And local wisdom itself not only includes knowledge, but also the values of life. So why people choose local wisdom to protect their community? Because people are accustomed to adapting to the environment, as the all Indonesian saying that where the earth is stepped on, there the sky is held up. We can say in Indonesia, di mana bumi dipijak, di situ langit dijunjung. So in this situation, people can survive under any circumstances by understanding and coexisting wisely with nature and environment. They're very comfortable with their community. They will very comfortable with their environment, and they will very comfortable with their own value. There are some examples of local wisdom that can be practiced as strategies to facing the COVID-19. The first one is Bese Sandingon. Bese Sandingon is local wisdom from Orang Rimba. Orang Rimba is indigenous people who living in the middle of the jungle of Jambi. Jambi is a part of Sumatra Island. And then this local wisdom The process of the Pesasindungan is a person who has just returned from a long distance from the forest. They must make their own temporary places, which the closest position is 200 meters from the family home. It is to anticipate the transmitted disease from outside that may spread to other members. This process of being alone is done for at least 1 week without any symptoms of sickness. After that, they can get back together with their family in one house. This tradition, this sindingon of being alone in the forest when sick, is reflected now as physical distancing and quarantine concept. Another local wisdom that we can use as strategy as Taposliro. Taposliro is a Javanese word. It means empathy. Literally means self-mirror. It's a person's willingness to measure, reflect on, or feel what other experiences. Taposliro is the result of Javanese penggalihan. What is penggalihan? Penggalihan is the result of logical thinking and feeling. This attitude guides some to feel the difficulties of others, especially during the corona outbreak. Another local wisdom from Javanese community is gotong royong. Gotong royong comes from Javanese language, namely gotong, meaning bearing on and or soldiering, and royong, meaning together. Therefore, in most of the communities, gotong royong, mutual cooperation extends rise to alleviate the difficulties of others. The basis of gotong royong is a sense of taposloro. So gotong royong and taposloro, they're holding each other. The concept of gotong royong during the COVID-19 outbreak is needed to strengthen and help each other so that everyone feels not alone. As Indonesia, as predominantly Muslim countries, most of people also practice a normal practice that goes along with headline guidelines. So, for example, Muslim practice wudu, washing hands before wudu. This is a part of ablution. Ablution is wudu as a Muslim daily ritual of purity before they doing prayer. And also, based on the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said that cleanliness is part of the faith. So Muslim is very familiar with the general cleanliness. And another thing, another concept from the Islamic teaching is that the Prophet gave instruction on what to do if there is an outbreak. If you hear that the plague is in a land, don't go there. And if breaks out in a land where you are, don't live, fleeing from it. Oh, sorry. This is a very, I think this basic etiquette about covering your mouth when sneezing is very basic, and it can take a big part in stopping of the spread of viruses nowadays, especially for COVID-19. So this is the basic local wisdom that may use to facing COVID-19. Listening from many parts of region in Indonesia, we have examples from the Bali Island. Bali had reported, maybe some people acknowledge Bali as a country, but Bali is a part of Indonesia. Bali had reported 407 cases of infection with 295 recoveries and 4 deaths, some of the lowest fatality figure in the entire country. Bali's successful containment efforts have largely been attributed to the active role played by traditional village, we call it pecalang, which make up the majority of the island's settlements, as the majority of people are Hindus who comply with local religious customs. So in Bali, pecalang become a traditional god who control people, who discipline people when they don't use a mask. Another place that use local wisdom to facing COVID-19 is in Java Island. Java Island have some part in Central Java province. We have program Jogotongo. It means that neighborhood watch. This program uses local wisdom system as solidarity within the community to help each other prevent starvation during COVID-19 pandemic, because they do self-isolation and self-quarantine. And also still in Java Island, but in East Java province, we have the same program, Joko Tonggo, but the program is quite different with the Central Java province. In here, in East Java province, Joko Tonggo refer to a local program to guard their neighborhood from outsider and intruder. In another place of Indonesia, we have Bangka Belitung that using a contact monitoring phone application to alert the community task force of contact breaches to ensure compliance of 14-day self-isolation for contact of COVID-19 patients. In Sulawesi Island, in South Sulawesi, asymptomatic contacts of confirmed COVID-19 cases participate in 14-day quarantine program, during which they are provided with COVID-19 prevention training and education that they can then share with their communities once the quarantine period is completed. This is also known as the Juta COVID-19 Ambassador Program. In another place of Sulawesi Island, we have the youth group in the Kaleso village, West Sulawesi. They initiated a movement to produce natural antiseptics from bitter leaves and lime. The abundance of pepper betel plants and lime trees in the Kaleso village has greatly helped this initiative, as the people in the area have been growing them as herbal plants in their garden. This is some picture how the community try to lock down their community from outsider, from the visitor for a certain time. As a community nurse, I try to find what we can learn from the cases from Italy. The important lesson from the urban living is the need to plan for the possibility of caring for patients in their own home in the future, maybe. And also hospitalization is not necessary for everyone and can even be harmful. And then in this point, home care may be a more viable option. Yet we have to understand, we have to prepare that community nurse and general practitioner must have all the equipment and instruments they need in order to be able to do their job properly. Last but not least, I want to finish my presentation today with a beautiful quote. There is always rainbow after the rain. Even though we're still in the doom and gloom situation right now, but we heard that the vaccine will be coming soon. So we all have the rain. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bu Yeni Lufiana, as a good presentation. Yeah, we will with the rainbow after the rain. Yeah, we will continue to the session of question and answers session for the three honorable speakers. The first question is from Muhammad Nasir from University of Bukit Tinggi. He asked to the professor, he asked to the Dr. Pailin. The question is, based on the theme for the webinar today, how is the role of the students to apply this material to the society? Dr. Pailin, can you hear my voice? Yeah, I repeat once again. How is the role of the student or a university student for this pandemic to the society to apply the health handling patient during the new normal era? Is it clear, doctor? Dr. Pilot, can you hear my voice? Dr. Pailin? Dr. Pailin, can you hear my voice? Okay, maybe we skip first, yeah. We ask to the Professor Sasli for the next question. Tadi mana?
Can you repeat the question, Vita?
Yeah, we have one question. Okay, from Bu Endang Kadiri University lecturer. Can you explain more detail about the innovation in your hospital during pandemic?
Okay, thank you. So we are lucky because our clinical facility is about 100 bedded, and we're next to a large Ministry of Health hospital with a maximum capacity of 2,000. And we are also part of a large university called University Technology Mara. So the campus for UITM is across Malaysia with around almost 200,000 students enrolled. During the pandemic, or during the time when we were severely stressed because our infection rate was very, very high, we had complete lockdown across the country. So all our alumni, engineers, architects, designers, tailors, arts and design, students, lecturers, and also graduates had nothing much to do. So this is when everybody got together and started to create their own groups and WhatsApp group and started to figure out ideas of how to better help the response for COVID. The ideas that came through included printing of 3D face shield, creation of face masks, creation of intubation boxes, isolation boxes, perspex covering for registration counters, sewing up of PPEs, their own PPE design, as well as this combat unit. So this combat unit is a big collaboration with engineering companies to produce container-style testing unit to use too many manpower and also too many PPEs, and able to test suspected patients on a larger scale. Other innovation that is currently ongoing in the COVID vaccine and the collaboration with the genotyping of the vaccine itself, that is still a work in progress.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Sasli, for the nice answer. Next question for Dr. Pailin. Hello,
Yes,
doctor.
yes.
Yeah, can you hear my voice?
Yes.
Yeah, the question from Natsir from University of Bukit Tinggi. He asked about what is the role of student to apply the handling patient to society.
The student.
The student role as the student role to apply this material for society. What is the student role to apply this
The student
material
role?
to society? Yeah.
Oh, you mean the student go to school?
Yeah, no, I mean the student, health student perhaps. The health student. The
Children?
university student for nursing, the university student nursing.
Oh,
Yeah, the role of
I
them.
see, I see. You mean the nursing student, right?
Yeah.
Okay. For the nursing student, we have to study online for a while during the infection, like maybe 3 months or 4 months.
Yeah.
They study online. They study from home and submit the homework online also, and they take exam from home also. But we have some problem with the practicing in the laboratory.
Yeah.
That when we teach them online, maybe I think they have only one. It's two-way communication, but they still don't understand very much like they study in the nursing lab. So we have to wait until the infection is low down, and the government allow us to start school about half of July, at the middle of July. Then the student come to the university but they cannot go to practice in the hospital until I think now they're still at the laboratory nursing lab. I think at the end of the month, so they can go to practice in the hospital. But before they go to the hospital, they have to like a 14-day quarantine, vaccination, have to follow the instruction like get mask, alcohol gel, that sort of thing. And I think every university in Thailand have to start at the same time. That at the end of the month that they can go to practice in the hospital.
Okay, thank
But
you.
at the hospital, at the university, they have to like put mask, thermal scan, put mask, alcohol gel, hand washing, and social distancing, that sort of thing that we said before.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Patien, for the nice answer. One more question for Dr. Patien from Mr. Jatmiko from Kadi University. He asked about during the COVID-19 pandemic, are there a consideration for surgical or another procedural care setting?
Only please again, please.
Yeah, during this COVID-19 pandemic, are there consideration for surgical or other procedural care setting?
Surgical?
Surgical,
You mean surgical treatment?
and other procedural of care setting. Is there any procedural or surgical care setting during this pandemic?
Oh, you mean if they have to they need the surgical treatment, right?
Yeah, surgical treatment during this pandemic. What's
the surgical treatment like emergency treatment like appendicitis, right?
yeah.
Okay, if that happens, so they have to complete physical exam of the patient that they have COVID-19 or not. If they don't have any, but we cannot wait for the surgery for a long time because maybe the appendix will be ruptured, so they can do the emergency treatment.
I see. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Next question for the all speakers. It is from Astrid. He asked to Dr. Patien, Professor Sasli, and also Miss Yeni, how is the Thailand and then Indonesia and Malaysian effort to keep the COVID number low? How to decrease? Maybe from Dr. Patien first. How is the effort of Thailand to make the number of COVID-19 become decrease?
Become decrease?
Yeah.
Oh, for
From
me, I think the cooperation of the people in the country is very important. If all of the people follow the direction or follow the guideline that the Ministry of Public Health or the government provide to all of us, if they follow that, they will be safe. But anyway, maybe we cannot control everybody, but most of them is follow the rule.
Okay, thank you. Next, about from Malaysia, what is the Malaysian effort to keep the COVID number is low? Yeah, Professor Sasli, the time is yours to answer. Hello, Prof. Professor Sasli, do you hear my voice? Unmute, yeah.
Okay, now I can talk. I tried to unmute, but it wasn't allowed. So I was here listening just now. I do agree it's probably a bit too much to hospitalize all COVID positive patients. But what we found in our community is that sometimes they break rules, and that's very, very hard. And the way our society is set up, where we have a heterogeneous society with multiple different people from everywhere, sometimes when they break the rules, people get angry and they pretend not to understand, and that's very, very difficult. So I think it's very important to understand the type of society that we live in. Maybe in Thailand, it's different to Malaysia, different to Indonesia, different to China, etc. But in Malaysia, we need to understand our society, and we feel that they are not very disciplined. Therefore, the COVID positive, I don't think we can treat them at home. We still have capacity in the hospital. We keep them in hospital, not exactly in a hospital bed. As I said earlier, it's pretty much like a hotel. They come in, they get meals, they get monitored, and when they are tested negative, they go home. For the sicker patients, then they are monitored in the hospital. If we do not have capacity when our hospitals are full, yes, we will be looking at a model that we will be looking after these COVID patients at home. But that is the reason why the lockdown was deployed in the first place, to try and flatten the curve and prevent hospitals from being overwhelmed, so that we have the capacity to treat the sick people and to prevent the infection from spreading at a rate that we cannot control. So understanding society and deploying regulations and methods to individual society, I think is very important. Video muted.
As we know as well that control people in Indonesia is also very difficult, same as in Thailand and also in Malaysia. But the suggestion is we have to follow the health guideline. That's the rule. And also we have to raise the community awareness that the COVID-19 is still exists, because around here in Indonesia, people ignore it. They think that COVID-19 has been gone away for a while. And also the important thing is that don't be selfish. Don't be selfish. We have to consider other people. We have to keep their safety, their health. So don't be selfish, and stay aware that COVID-19 is still in here right now. Thank you very much.
They in Palai Connect. Okay, มันเรียกปลา3 รอบ
Oh, sorry. The next question from Budita Universitas Kadiri. She asked to Dr. Patien and then Professor Sasli and also Bu Yeni how to manage the overprotective attitude during the COVID-19. Can you hear Dr. Patien? How to manage the overprotective attitude during the COVID-19?
Oh.
Yeah.
How to manage, right?
Yeah. How to manage. Sometimes we feel afraid, and then it will become us as the parent feel overprotective attitude for the kid especially. So how to manage this attitude to make it not get serious?
Oh, in Thailand we use a lot of health volunteer that they can work in the community, and then they work very close with the families in the community, and we have to work closely with the school, also the teacher at school, so that we have to tell our children about the COVID-19 is not only involved at the respiratory system, but they involve blood system also,
Mhm.
even the other system of the body, and we have to like a very close, have really close relationship, like let them afraid of the disease, understand what's going on about the disease, and then have to cooperate with the healthcare provider about how to stop the disease. It was very difficult, but most of the time people is cooperate. It's very good.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Pailin, for your answer. Next, Professor Sasli, what do you think about your way to manage the overprotected attitude during the COVID-19?
Thank you. So again, depending on level of society that we are in, if we find that a lot of people in Kuala Lumpur, big cities, would have a lot more anxiety rather than those in the rural areas in the kampung. So those in the big cities are also more technologically accessible and advanced in a way that everybody has a smartphone. Hence, therefore, the education and awareness are given at multiple levels. Between their WhatsApp group, they are always circulating, and even the ministry through the National Security Council would send in a blast text message to everyone in the country on the updates, on what to do, on social distancing, on wearing masks, so that they know how things are spread. They would also be updating every day at 4 o'clock. The Director General for Health would go on TV to update the country on numbers where the hotspots are. So the majority of people, now that we are allowed to travel, would know where to avoid, for example. For those who are overly protective, especially for young children going to school, again, the education comes from the school itself. In schools, we find that the parents are happy to send children to school because the parents have to go to work, right? But we find some schools employ and deploy very strict, stringent measures, temperature checks at the entrance of school, mandatory face mask wearing, no physical education in school itself. They're not allowed to play with friends. They're not allowed to eat in the canteen. They have to bring their own food. And also parents have to pick them up at the stipulated time. So these are all measures to try and curb the spread of COVID. Sometimes personally, it might be a bit too much. Finding the right balance is very important. Knowing the local prevalence of COVID-19 and knowing that the society in that locality is social distancing, wearing masks, helps to gives a bit more confidence to parents and to everyone involved. In scenarios where society does not cooperate, and that's the problem, then you have to be very, very vigilant, obsessive about safety, face masks, and hand washing at all time. So it all depends on the level of education society that we are in.
Yeah, thank you, Professor Sasli, for the answer. How about you, Bu Yeni? What do you think about how to manage the overprotective attitude during the COVID-19?
Thank you, Ms. Fida. This is a very difficult question, I think, but a good one. Overprotective attitude might cause by many factors. So we have to understand it first, what the cause of the overprotective of the parent over their children. Maybe because they have a fear that their children will contract the disease when they go to school. But if I agree with Dr. Patien, also Professor Sasli, that we have always to spread the information, the right information, and the parent also has to access the right connection, right information about the COVID-19, because maybe, I don't know in Malaysia or in Thailand, but in Indonesia, there are some hoax about COVID-19, so people maybe they got false awareness about COVID-19, but they also got wrong information about COVID-19. So always access the true source of COVID-19 information in Indonesia. We have so the thing is that we have to understand what the cause of the fear that might lead the parent to be overprotective of their children. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Yuni, for your nice answer. Ladies and gentlemen, we finally have come to the end part of this seminar. Before I close this seminar, I would like to take the conclusion from the what speaker have presented. During this pandemic, all the medical staff in all the world have the important duty for caring and saving the patient. They must set something new for this handling the patient. But during this pandemic, there is also finding some innovation such as the virtual clinic consultation, drive-through pharmacy, etc. So the role of medical staff in this pandemic is very crucial, and their sacrifice is very valuable for all of us. Give our deepest appreciate for all medical staff in the world. I would like to thank so much for the honorable speaker for informative, interesting presentation today, and to all the participants for joining and active in participation. Please give applause for the all speaker for all of you all. Before we close this seminar, I would like to invite all the participants today and then to take a picture together with our honorable speaker and the seminar team. Please turn on all of your camera. Please. Okay, and then the committee, please ready for taking the picture. I will count, and don't forget to give your best smile for today's seminar. 1, 2, 3. Enough? 1, 2, 3. Finish? Finish? Thank you. I and all of our team for the international seminar today apologize for the shortcoming and mistake of today's seminar. Thank you very much for the honorable speaker. You are very amazing today. Your method is very nice and very benefit for all of us. Hopefully, this seminar will be give much benefit for everybody in the world. Amin. Ya Rabbal Alamin. Hope to see you again in another seminar held by Kadiri University. Thank you for your coming today. Have a nice day. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
สวัสดีค่ะอาจารย์
สวัสดีค่ะ พูดภาษาไทยได้
น้ำลากันแล้วใช่ไหมครับ
ทำลาแล้วเดี๋ยวให้เขาไปก่อน
Kadiri University is a private university located in Kediri, East Java, Indonesia. It is located in the west of Kediri, near with Selamanglang Cave and Airlangga Museum. The location is also near with Maskumambang Hills, makes the Kadiri University be a comfortable place for studying and learning. Kadiri University has big contribution of Kediri development. It's said by Sudanjo Supriyadi Wali Songo Kediri Foundation since 1980. Kadiri University has passed many bachelor to fulfill the society needs in Kediri especially and in Indonesia commonly. The graduates of Kadiri University have gotten a job in many cities and countries all over the world. Critical competent, superior, characterless to be able to compete internationally in 2026 is the vision of Kadiri University. It is also supported by all faculties in Kadiri University. Kadiri University has academic, profession, and vocational education, namely Law Faculty, Social and Politics Faculty, Agriculture Faculty, Economics Faculty, Engineering Faculty, Health Science Faculty. By using student-centered learning, Kadiri University is supported by the good quality of lecturer to get a good cognitive, effective, and psychomotoric graduation to be able to compete in globalization era. Kadiri University has academic and non-academic facilities such as library, computer center, language center, ASEAN Studies Center, sports stadium, institution gallery, mini hospital, and job placement center to make the student easier to get the job.
Mari bergabung bersama kami di Universitas Kadiri.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. Before we get started, let me introduce myself. Okay, my name is Sasli. I'm one of the students of Management Department, Economics Faculty from Kadiri University, and now I'm in 6th semester. Well, Economic Faculty has 2 departments, consist of Management Department, Economic and Development Studies, not only for bachelor degree, but also for masters. Don't you curious about what's in Economics Faculty from Patien University?
The IDX Investment Gallery, the statistic room, and then the reading room, then computer laboratory, and also the comfort lecture room. Not only those facilities, Economics Faculty has fun activities such as session team, table tennis, badminton, and also Wirami, the facility for the students who has entrepreneurship.
That's all a little bit information of economics faculty from Kadiri University. And I'm here really proud to be part of it. So let's joining us in economics faculty from Kadiri University. What are you waiting for?
Kalau biasanya itu moderator yang akan menjelaskan. Baik, untuk silahkan registrasi di halaman ini. Biasanya enggak. Kamu belum bikin buat sertifikatnya. Ring absensinya lah. Nah iya, biasanya gitu. Ya sudah 1.000 itu dikasih aja lah. Enggak, gini aja. Besok dibikinkan link absensi aja. Dikasih token.
Jadi modelannya dia password terus nanti bisa aja. Jadi kayak cuma orang-orang
yang punya tokennya aja yang
tokennya aja yang bisa gitu. Kan bisa bayar.